Li Xiang is the son of a pair of archaeologists who didn't return from an expedition one day. The sole survivor has become delusional and fixated on some kind of magical mirror that made stone snakes come to life and then disappeared into the abyss. Li Xiang is convinced that this mirror can shed light on the mystery of his parents' disappearance, and one day he receives a letter from the village of Xue-Er, where the mirror was suddenly discovered. In the company of his best friend and journalist girlfriend, Li Xiang goes there, but the mirror transports all three of them to a magical land that a demonic dragon is trying to take over. At first glance, it seems that Mystic Land is just another action-adventure about the search for a lost tomb, of which there have been so many in the last couple of years, that they have already started to merge in memory into one endlessly boring movie. But, fortunately, this is a deceptive impression. Even despite a number of suspicious signs, like the fact that the protagonist goes on a journey in the footsteps of his missing parents, it never comes to the tombs with their annoying traps and riddles. The thing is that about half an hour after the beginning, the movie turns into a fantasy story about an ancient prophecy, an evil demon and three chosen ones, who have to stop him, in the process gaining unprecedented power and defeating themselves first. To be more precise, to defeat himself must Li Xiang, one of the most unpleasant and repulsive heroes in the history of Chinese online cinema, a character so selfish, hysterical and ungrateful, that at some point he becomes annoying. After all, the viewer should connect to the hero and feel some empathy to him, but for some reason Li Xiang is sure that since his parents died, now the whole world owes him something. Nevertheless, if you have patience and accept the protagonist with all his shortcomings, Mystic Land can perfectly entertain. In general, Chinese online cinema is clearly divided into two directions. Outright fantasy is found only in films on mythology themes, while movies, which take place in modern times, forced to explain any paranormality by poison, illusions, and mutations. The authors of Mystic Land put our contemporaries in a real fantasy legend, with demons and magic, and although they voice out from the very beginning of this journey that they are probably just sleeping, it doesn't matter so much. As long as the characters are there, we have a quite honest fantasy action movie in front of us. And it's not a bad fantasy action movie. With decent computer graphics by the standards of Chinese online movies and quite interesting plot, which, on the one hand, is based on familiar patterns, but contains some unusual elements and is told in a colorful and cheerful way. Director Luo Lu, who directed the film, has previously distinguished himself with the fascinating fantasy Laosan Taoist and dynamic military action film Warriors, and knows how to tell such stories, and the audience supported him. In online rental film performed very well, showing that adventure fantasy as a trend is not dead, it's just you have to know how to cook it.